Okay, this message is really designed specifically for African American people. Uh, don't mean to alienate anyone else. Of course, I think everyone should be able to learn and even benefit from this information because oftentimes people are in interracial relationships. So you may be married to an African American. You may have African American children, or you may have loved ones in other capacities that you are interested in information, or you may just want to know for your own knowledge base, and that's fine. But the message is really designed, directed for the special benefit of African American people. Because, again, my name is E.H. Meadows Jr. I have a degree, science degree in human development with a concentration in psychology. For a while attended one of the best universities in the country and certainly the state. Worked as a research assistant, single dad for up until a couple months ago, pretty much all my daughter's life. She's 9 years old, with the exception of the first year when my wife was still present. And was reared by a corporate father who was also addicted to crack cocaine, and very abusive mother, physically and verbally abusive mother, and who I believe, based on my research and speaking with PhDs in the area, whatnot, that she's dealing with undiagnosed bipolar disorder. Just a little background on me, what qualifies me to talk about this subject. Now, I did not find the motivation or the desire to really take my studies seriously until the middle of my 11th grade year, and I want to just stop here to say, it's going to be in the title anyway, but this is really about mental health for African American people, and really a different approach, taking a different approach, and that approach being really learning how to take care of yourself, nurture yourself, baby yourself, really, because of the tremendous abnormalities that you face as an African American person. Now, I was saying that I mentioned about my mother dealing with those undiagnosed issues, and I was saying that I didn't really find the need to take school very seriously until the middle of my 11th grade year, and that's when my parents got divorced, and my father moved back home with his mother, who lived in the inner city, urban area, the hood, whatever you want to call it, and I moved with him, followed him there, and eventually everyone left the home. There was my father, myself, and my sister, and eventually we all left, and then my mother was left there by herself. She got remarried. That marriage failed, and now she's in another relationship. And so, but point being is that it wasn't until I moved to an area, into schools that were considered to be far less than where I came from, which was suburban environment, and supposedly with great schools and everything. But it wasn't until I was in that area and I went to a school that wasn't supposedly a good school, but they had a Black History class, and Black History Club, in fact. And I quickly joined that. Had never had the opportunity to deal with anything that had to do with Black history. All of my teachers had been white teachers, and all of the education and curriculum was centered around enhancing the self-esteem and diminishing the self-esteem, enhancing the self-esteem of white children and diminishing the self-esteem of Black children, whether that was intentionally or not. That was the effect it was having on me and a lot of other Black children who weren't doing well, in spite of having supposedly all the advantages. I went to summer camps. I grew up in a very middle class way, with the exception of the challenges that came along with my father being on drugs and things of this nature. But yet and still, yet and still had a lot of exposure to things that should have caused me to have been just as motivated and in terms of my scholastic studies as my white counterparts, children that went to school with me and whatnot. And this store, and so by moving to that area, well, it was the Black History Club, and then there was also a black bookstore in that community where my grandmother lived. And so the combination of that and me buying all these books, and it just turned my whole life around. And this is not a mystery. This is not a mystery. This is something that's happened for me. I know the Malcolm X story. You know, he went to prison, and then we know that story, and that's when look at the how transformative that information was to him. So my thing is, you know, we have social scientists, we have people who are expert at figuring out what motivates people, what demotivates people, what is going to turn you on, turn you off. Try to keep it as basic and broad as possible, but the point is, for me, it's not an accident. You know, it's just not an accident at this point. I can't accept that. That would mean that somehow these very smart people, in every other respect, are just literally stupid when it comes to how to